Welcome back to the Sausage Factory, everybody, where we make podcasts.
Yes, we do.
We
Yes,
do.
we do.
We do. Paul was 10 minutes late because he was playing with some photos. Where are you, Paul?
Well, yeah. So I finished the photo scans a long time ago, but I still have like 200 and something folders of stuff I have to upload, and then some other number of folders that I have to figure out where they go. So I was like, maybe I should actually work on that and not, procrastinate forever.
Hey, where's the fun in that?
So I got a little caught up in it. Sorry,
But here we are. It's all good. As I was telling Paul right before the show, there's two things that go through my head when Paul isn't there right at 11. Either he's playing Call of Duty and whatever, so I usually send him like 4 or 5 messages, or something horrific has happened, and I probably shouldn't call him because he probably has other calamities. In this case, I should have just called you.
You can always, well, I don't know, just call me as if to start the podcast. I guess that would have worked. I mean, I would have certainly heard that. I would never be so involved in Call of Duty. I wasn't aware of this. It's a different screen. Call of Duty is very temporary passing kind of a thing.
But, yeah. It's been a good. I don't know. I'm going to get on my pedestal for a minute because I heard high horse, whatever, podium, whatever you want to call it. Because Paul, we've been talking about. I think I wrote up in November about a diskless version of the Xbox One S.
It's hard to say that correctly, isn't it? Diskless.
Yeah.
It's
close.
As a guy.
Yeah.
It's not the phrase that comes immediately to mind.
Yeah. But on that front, some other publications have now warmed up to the idea and are now talking about it and saying, hey, this is actually coming in April, like I had previously written. And actually, don't hold me explicitly to this date. I'm hearing that May 7th might be the day that you can actually walk into a store and pull it off the shelves. I think it's going to go up. They'll announce it in April. It'll go up for pre-orders.
Okay.
And then, yeah.
So how do you see them announcing this? Is this tied to anything or just surprise?
So they might
one
be
day
having
blog
a
post?
small Xbox event in April. Like they do this thing monthly. It's like Inside Xbox or whatever.
Yep.
And they might be doing it there.
Gotcha. Like a virtual event.
Yeah. The reason why I don't think that they would do it at E3 is because if they go up there and they talk about like next gen consoles, which there are 2 of them, which I believe they're going to talk about, and then they throw in a third, it's like that would be very overwhelming. I would think.
I'm very curious about the one data point that I assume will accompany this release, which is that it's going to be something to the effect of we have found over the past year or 2 years or whatever number of years that X% of our customers buy only on digital. I'm really, really curious about this. I was telling my wife this or somebody, but it was I had just gotten together a bunch of old Xbox stuff. I brought it to Boston, dropped it off at a friend's house because the guy that we used to go up and play there every month. And I was reminiscing with somebody about how things have really changed. And I said, in the Xbox 360 time frame, when that thing launched, it was very much a traditional console. You bought discs. That's the way it was. My son and I used to get up in the middle of the night and go to Best Buy to buy Call of Duty, on launch night at midnight. And then toward the end of it, digital became a possibility on the 360.
Yeah.
And I resolved with the Xbox One when that came out. And was that 2013 probably when it launched?
Yeah, it was right around end of 2013, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I determined I'm only going digital on this thing. And I except for testing purposes, I've played a Blu-ray movie, just to make sure it works, kind of thing. I have never used the optical drive in any Xbox One, and I've had all of them, obviously the original, the S, and now the X. This would not limit me in any way, shape, or form. Although I suppose there is, some kind of weird compulsive part of me. If I was going to put this out in the living room, I'd feel maybe safer having the disc, if only for, Blu-ray type discs, of which I own 3 or something. I'm not really a big collector of physical media, but anymore anyway. But yeah, I mean, I think the time's right. Let's throw 15 minutes later, Brad. What I'm trying to say is, I think this is good timing.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting too to see which markets it launches in or is ever released in. Because
U.S. Yeah, it could be U.S.
only
parts of Western Europe. Yeah,
Yep.
Something like that. Canada.
It's not going to be because if you don't have good internet connectivity, this thing's going to be useless for you. So
yeah, I mean, Xbox, they do a pretty good job of things. If you pre-order a game, you can basically kind of
Yeah.
pre-download it. They do that with Xbox Game Pass as
Mm-hmm.
well. This is a great console for that. Obviously, it's an online service. So if you're a big Xbox Game Pass fan, this is the type of console. I mean, I think this points to the future. I think this is where things are heading.
Well, in physical media, when you go and buy a game anymore, honestly, what you're buying is probably about saving yourself about half a download, because every game you put in your console anymore, you're downloading multiple gigs of data because it's an updated version of what's on the disc.
That's right. That's exactly right. And it's day one downloads are often just as big as the disc.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I guess, even if you are a physical media fan, or if you have a Blu-ray collection or whatever it is, I mean, how much does a Blu-ray drive cost these days? $29. You could probably get one in a box of cereal.
Yeah.
And those things, I don't think the state of the art on Blu-ray has really changed too much over the past couple of years, right? So,
I would agree.
I don't know. I've always felt that the Xbox, in any incarnation, was a weird device to use as a living room set-top box. It's big, it's heavy, it's loud, it consumes a bunch of electricity.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not an ideal platform for this. You can get these little tiny Roku devices or the sticks or whatever, Apple TV, whatever you want, and they're relatively inexpensive. There's no fans, they're just simple and they're just easier. And I would just apply that to the disc thing too. If you need Blu-ray, go buy a, $49 Polaroid, something, whatever it is.
Yep. And I take that back. There's 2 Blu-rays that I own.
Mm-hmm.
One I think is called Seven. I think it featured Will Smith, old movie. It was
Seven. The serial killer movie?
No, maybe it's not called Seven. It has Will Smith in it. It doesn't even matter. We bought it the day we bought a Blu-ray player, which was 2012 or whatever.
Because you want something to show it off.
Yep. The other Blu-ray movie I own in quotations, is the one that Microsoft sent with the Xbox One S review unit.
That's right. Which was what, Planet Earth or something? Or?
No, it wasn't Planet. If it was Planet Earth, I probably would have watched it. I don't even know what it was. It was something.
Yeah, I have a handful. I think some of them have kind of come and gone. Like I originally bought Casino Royale in that format, and I think I have the original Star Wars trilogy, or perhaps the six at the time. It was like the 6 Star Wars movies. And it was, because I'm like legally bound to buy every single version of Star Wars that's ever released. I think I don't really have much. I don't know. That's pretty much it. I don't really have a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. So it'll be curious to see. I believe Jazz Scoop that they're going to call it the All Digital Edition, which is really a really bad name because it's the Xbox One S All Digital Edition, which spells sad.
That's great. That's really funny. Sisters Against Drunk Driving. I trying to think of something. I suppose there's some possibility of confusion in the market.
Mm-hmm.
I certainly don't think they should release yet another color. Like you could imagine it would be like the Xbox One S, but would be light gray or something.
Mm-hmm.
But this could lead to some confusion. I assume that this thing will arrive in addition to what we already have. Like it's not going to replace the S.
That is my understanding. Actually, I believe what they're going to do this fall, I think they have another SKU of the Xbox One S. I don't think we're going to see any design changes, just a tech cost reduction. Yeah. And it wouldn't surprise me if this is all related. And they're like, we're going to do a cost reduction. Look, we can do it without a disk drive. We'll do that now, and then we'll start building those boxes for later this year for the markets that need it.
That alone is kind of interesting. I mean, someone will do a teardown of this thing and compare it to the Xbox One S. But you have. Did we already talk? You had some other news about console schedules for the coming year and so forth, right? Above and beyond this.
There's a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, we've got Anaconda and we got Lockhart, which are going to be talked about at E3. We've got the Master Chief Collection, which is on console. What I believe it is just about ready now for PC.
Wow.
They're also bringing Game Pass to PC, which we already knew. Satya talked about that, I think, in an earnings call. I think he just kind of like grabbed the mic and was like, we're already on Game PC too. But what I think they're going to do here is I think they're going to probably launch at the same time, whenever that is. Could be, I think it might be soon, but I'm not fully convinced or fully in the know yet. But it would make sense that they launch Game Pass on the PC and put the Master Chief Collection behind that product, so actually people will pay for it.
Yeah.
I can't see them coming up. We know definitively that Game Pass on PC is coming. The CEO said it. We know that Master Chief Collection is coming. It's been talked about for a while now. I can't imagine them launching that and be like, yeah, that's $60. Oh, here's Game Pass too. Like,
you got to have something that's behind it. I mean, granted, there's probably some dozen or so decent Xbox Play Anywhere type titles that would fall into this category, but I mean, Halo.
Hey, it's what people
they don't have
wanted.
a better IP than Halo.
Yeah. And wouldn't it surprise me too to see Age of Empires behind some of their old IP in there? I mean, they got to launch with the catalog if they want people to pay a reoccurring subscription. So it's got to be worthwhile.
Yeah. I mean, now that you mention it, I suppose there's some interesting things you could do around the premium versions of Solitaire and some of these Windows games that, they could bring back things like Flight Simulator, which has kind of been an up and down thing.
It also kind of plays into the fact of why they bought so many gaming studios. Yes, we know that they needed games, but they need more than just games. They need like good games, and they need to control the entire story, not like narrative story, but like the development and where it's sold story. And so by having them do that, they can be, look, you're going to build it this way, so it's on both platforms. That way Game Pass becomes a thing, and we become sustainable, and blah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
The only thing I haven't seen, which I've been asked about 6 million times, is the Elite V2.
I know.
Which hurts. That one hurts.
Which in some non-vague way, I want more than anything we've already discussed. I mean, yes, a 60 frame per second, always 4K console is of interest. Of course it is. Yep. If I had to choose between that and an Elite controller at this point, I mean, honestly, I think I'd take the controller.
I want my hands to be caressed, not cold plastic.
Hard plastic, exactly.
Yeah. So, well, this is a little bit shorter of an episode because I've got a meeting, unfortunately, in 8 minutes. But
so what you're really saying is it would have been a normal episode, but I waited 10 minutes before I decided to respond to your call.
I was trying not to throw you under the bus, but if you if you want to step off the curb, I'm not going to stop you.
It was inadvertent. It wasn't malicious.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
Yep.
All right, you got anything else for today?
No, I got my Mate 20 Pro review is Mate 20 Pro. Yeah, is finally up. I hope to get up a couple of laptop reviews this week. I do have a Huawei MateBook, and I also have that HP EliteBook 1040G5. Maybe I don't get these names are terrible, but hopefully those will happen soon.
Okay.
How about you?
I ordered some more smart home stuff because I can't even talk. I don't even remember if I talked about what I did with. Did I talk about what I did with the Raspberry Pi? I need to write all this up.
I don't think you did.
Okay. Well,
you're incorporating a Raspberry Pi into your smart home. You need to write this up, dude.
I do. Well, I'm waiting for the next thing to arrive, and then then I think I'll have enough content.
Did you buy an
to make
awesome case for it so it will totally fit in with whatever you're doing? What are you doing with it?
Stay tuned.
Oh, come on.